A senior from Richfield, Pennsylvania, number 4, Alexis Austin. 5'7" is freshman from Woodbury, New Jersey, number 10, Angela Hayes. And 6'1" is junior from Mountain, New Jersey, number 23, Casey Thomas. Head coach of the Tigers is Melissa Dunn. Now here are the starters for your Chestnut Hill College Men. 5'2" is junior from Somerset, New Jersey, number 2, Mary Rossi. 5'9" is sophomore from Harlingen, New Jersey, number 20, Haley Gibson. 5'6" is senior from North Wales, Pennsylvania, number 22, Vicky Tomas. 5'9" is junior from Somerset, New Jersey, number 32, Jada Wildgoose. And 5'10" sophomore from Philadelphia, number 42, Shannon Glenn. The assistant coaches for the Griffins are Lindsay Alexander, Pat Curtin, Brittany McDonough, Micaiah Young, and McKenna Monroe Thomas, and the head coach in his third season is Mike West. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask for your attention for a message from the Central Atlantic Legion Conference and the NCAA.
And the CACC Conference. I am Amy, the Secretary of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. As Division II student athletes, we promote good sportsmanship and a positive game environment at all our process. We expect that you as spectators will do the same. We request that you cooperate and support participants.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome into another edition of Chestnut Hill Griffins Athletics. I'm Ricky Sobrano, here courtside with you at Sorgenti Arena, a couple minutes away from the tip between the Chestnut Hill Griffins and the Holy Family University Tigers. First game of a doubleheader here today. The Griffins coming in at 6-6, 2-1 in conference. Holy Family, conversely, they are winless in conference right now and just 1-9 overall. So it's been a tough go of it for them. Off the opening tip, it's Holy Family ball. They're in the black, working right to left here today. Griffins looking to trap early on. They are in the home gold with red trim as that's tipped out of bounds by Shannon Glenn. It will stay with Holy Family. Griffins going with Mary Trossi, Vicky Tomas, Shannon Glenn, Jada Wildgoose down low as we have a whistle before the inbound. And Kaylee Gibson, the normal starting five for the Griffins. Holy Family. They counter with Jada Smith, Casey Schweitzer. Big girl in the middle is Casey Thomas, number 23, 6'1" junior center. She's one to watch. Alexis Hofstadter. She's inbounding the ball right now. And Angelica Hayes. Four-guard lineup with the big girl, Thomas, down low. Smith off the inbound, 16 to shoot for Holy Family. Wildgoose working on Hofstadter. And Hofstadter will reset with 10 on the clock. Has a screen set up to her left. She'll use it from Thomas. Cut off, defended well. 5 on the clock. It's Thomas deep 2. Off left, tipped underneath, kept alive, and it's a fresh 30 for Homely Family. Nice job by Jada Smith. Down low to get the offensive board. Holding the ball over her head, it's Hayes. Now they swing it around the perimeter, but Glenn, or rather Thomas, threw it out of bounds looking for Schweitzer. Schweitzer cut inside. Thomas threw it to where she previously was. So the Griffins' first possession of the ball game. It's Gibson skip past Glenn. Holy Family pressuring early. Tomas with 22 on the clock. Vicky Tomas still the leading scorer for this team. Tries her luck here, too strong from deep. Rebound for Holy Family and Hayes. Here's Hayes on the run. She'll slow things down with Tomas out on her. Man-to-man D from the Griffins early on. Hayes just a freshman. She's one to watch. So there's a travel there, and we'll go back to the Griffins. Smith and Hayes, two of the freshmen in the lineup for Holy Family. Smith just a guard, but she actually leads the team in rebounds. Nearly averages a double-double just as a freshman guard. Here's Wild Goose kicking in the corner. Open shot, Glenn. And she puts it in from deep. Shannon Glenn, her first bucket of the game. Nice look by Tomas, who passed up an open shot for an even more open shot from Glenn. That's the first points of the ball game, about a minute and a half in. Hofstadter, third leading scorer on this team. She'll do most of the ball handling for Holy Family. Now Thomas has it up top. Hayes holds. Tomas on her. Hofstadter back with it. Trossi hand in her face. 6 on the clock. Hofstadter kicks into the corner, a 3. Too strong, high rebound for Tomas. Shot no good from Hayes. Here's Glenn on the run. On the wing, kicks back for Tomas. A deep 3. Got it. Vicky Tomas. Quick catch and shoot trigger there. And it's quickly 6-0 Griffins. They have the first 2 buckets of the ball game. Trossi plays Hofstadter all the way up the court. Hofstadter all the way, and that's going to be an up and down. Looked like she was going to attack the basket, then got better of it. And she turns it over, so it goes to the Griffins. Glenn with a head of steam across half court. Hands off for Tomas. Inside Wild Goose, picks up her dribble, hits a cutting Gibson into the corner. Trossi, a deep 2, and she puts it in. Griffins pushing double digits already. 7:15 to go in the opening quarter. Griffins dropped their last game on December 13th. Their last 3 games have been non-conference affairs, and that'll be that. It's their last non-conference game of the year as Hofstadter misses that 18-footer from the top of the key. Rebound for Glenn. She'll look to push. Now she'll reset with Trossi. Tomas on the wing. Gibson. Wild Goose calling for it down low. She doesn't get it. Glenn thought about it. Now she'll kick back for Gibson. 14 on the clock. Gibson picks up her dribble. Now Glenn inside. Wild Goose couldn't handle the pass cleanly. Rejected by Thomas. And here comes Smith on the run. Smith 2-on-1 going right at Glenn. Hit the bottom of the bucket, but it's rebounded by Schweitzer. Shot clock will not reset, or at least it shouldn't have. But it doesn't matter now as Schweitzer puts that one in. First bucket of the game for Holy Family. Wild Goose at the free throw line, driving right at Thomas. Came up short. Rebound for Schweitzer, and Wild Goose fouled her from behind. Maya Graham will check in now. Jada Wild Goose will sit. Cassie Siebold, the reigning CACC Rookie of the Week, will get her first action of the game as well as Kaylee Gibson sits. 8-2 early on. Griffins on top by 6. Come up on 6 to play. Siebold looking to trap there, but this time Holy Family breaks it. And Hofstadter will slow things down with Trossi out on her, 35 feet from the bucket. Hofstadter over to the deep right wing as a screen set up to her left from Thomas. Splits the double, kicks it in the corner. 3 on the way. Schweitzer got it. Nice play by Hofstadter. Split the double as they came to trap on the pick and roll and found the open man in the corner. I'll call it a deep 2, at least for now. Say Schweitzer's foot was on the line. Trossi, deep 2 again, and she puts it in. Trossi's second bucket of the game, both of them coming from exactly that spot. Mary Trossi, not typically known for her long-range shooting, but has 2 deep 2s. Smith attacking, and a little bit too aggressive that time. She bowled over Siebold, and will go to the Griffins.
First team foul.
Gibson in. As is Wild Goose, as Trossi and Glenn will sit. Holy Family, led by Melissa Dunn in her second season. Looks like they're setting up a half-court trap here. Seabold and Graham play catch as they cross the timeline. Open shot to Maz, and that's her second three of the game. Vicky Tumaz now has 6. It's a 9-point game, largest lead of the ball game for the Griffins, as Hofstadter is fouled by Graham. She was trying to break the press. Second foul on the Griffins. Midway through the opening quarter. As Tomas picks off that pass from Hofstadter. Tomas to the hoop, and she lays it home. With the right hand, now 8 for Vicky Tomas. 11-point game, already double digits for the Griffins against this young Holy Family team. Here's Schweitzer. Griffins coming with the trap, but she passes out of it for Hofstadter. Hofstadter cut off by Graham. Schweitzer a 3, too short. Rebound for Graham. She hands off for Seabold. Seabold on the run with a head of steam. Into the lane, coast to coast. Had it knocked out of her hands. And it will stay with the Griffins. Tomas and Graham will sit. Glenn and Trossi back in. Jelly Verma out of Estonia, freshman guard, 22 in black, getting her first action of the game. First substitute of the game made for Holy Family as Gibson threw that inbounds, out of bounds, so it will go to Holy Family. Only the first turnover of the game for the Griffins. Here's the freshman out of Estonia, getting it up for Smith, backdoor Schweitzer, and she lays it home with the left hand. So that time, set up by Verma. Holy Family was able to break the press, and it led to an easy deuce. That ball swatted out of bounds, and will go to the Griffins. Off of Smith and Holy Family last. 15-6 game, 4:09 to go in the opening quarter. Gibson inbound, and she gets it in for Trossi on the deep right wing. Trossi crosses over into the lane, kicks for Glenn a 3. Too strong, rebound for Smith and Holy Family. There's a long and lanky Smith trying to take Gibson off the dribble. Schweitzer, a 3, got it. Schweitzer's been very accurate in this game. She leads Holy Family in scoring, now a 6-point game. Schweitzer's second 3. She now has 8. Trossi for Glenn, that pass tipped by Smith. They fight for it, Smith on the deck, it's still loose. Schweitzer has it, leaves it for Hayes, Hayes to the hoop, and she was fouled from behind by Seabold. So Holy Family, a little bit of a run going here to get back into it. Now a 6-point game. It was an 11-point game just moments ago. And now Hayes at the line for 2. Hayes now 3 for 3 at the line this year. Hasn't had a lot of attempts, obviously. Does most of her damage from downtown, typically. Rattles home the second as well. Now a 4-point game. Griffins on top. Holy Family again showing a press. Wild Goose attacks, kicks for Gibson. Another pass, Glenn. It's going to be a foul on Glenn as Hayes jumped that passing lane. And I'll say that Glenn had a hold of Hayes around the shoulders. 4th foul on the Griffins, 1 more, and Holy Family will be shooting. Here's Verma. Trossi on her. Verma still looking for her first double figures outing of her college career. Just a freshman. Here's Smith. Jacket deep 2 off the dribble. Too short, barely grazed front iron. Rebound for Glenn. And the Griffins. Here's Seabold. Now Trossi into the corner to open Gibson a 3. Too short. Rebound for Schweitzer and Holy Family. She stumbled down but was able to get it to Verma. Verma on the run. Seabold trailing the play. Schweitzer was open for a moment but elected not to shoot it. And a foul down low that will go against Elizabeth Radley, 6'1" sophomore forward who was looking to post up the significantly smaller Mary Trossi, but fouled her trying to get position. That would have been a mismatch because Radley is just about a foot taller than Trossi. That pass tipped and nearly stolen by Smith. Bit of a dangerous one there as Glenn was looking for Gibson. On the far sideline. Glenn to inbound. Holy Family presses bothered the Griffins a bit the last couple of minutes. Here's to Maz, and she puts it in from 18 in the wing. Hasn't missed yet, has Vicky Tomas. 6-point game, 2:26 to go. In the opening quarter, here's Hayes. The Griffins come with the trap. Tomas got a hand on it. Which way is it going? It's off of the Griffins last, and will stay with Holy Family. That time the Griffins had what they wanted. They trapped the freshman with Trossi and Tomas, but the ball was just off of the Griffins last. Here's Verma. Griffins again looking to trap in the corner. She passes out of it, does Verma. Here's Smith on the run, cut off by Trossi. 8 on the clock, driving baseline. Hofstetter just checked back into the game. Hayes, now Verma, 4 on the clock. Hayes a 3, off left. Smith the rebound, goes back up. Off left, Smith gets it back a second time, and again rejected partially by Wild Goose. And here comes Trossi. Griffins have numbers if they hurry. Here's Tomas, it's the trailer Gibson. Extra pass, Trossi in the corner. Now the Griffins will slow it down. Tomas a 3, too short, her first miss. Rebound tipped out by Wild Goose. Gibson has it. Glenn a 3. Puts it in. Shannon Glenn, her second triple of the game. And the Griffins are back up by 9, 1:30 to go in the opening quarter. Here's Hayes, 2-on-1 quickly. Smith down low, and she puts it home off glass. Her first bucket of the game. So Smith from Hayes as Holy Family answers. And a timeout on the court. 1:22 to go in the opening quarter. Griffins on top. 20-13 in the early going. Chestnut Hill in their last CACC matchup that was back on December 9th. Came away with a 72-65 victory at then number 19 U Sciences. Since then, they're 1-2, but all 3 of those non-conference games. Griffins boasting the best offense in the league, averaging 70.8 points per game, but the second worst defense in the league at 72.7 points per game. Here's Trossi running the point for the Griffins in gold, Holy Family in black with the sky blue trim. 20 on the shot clock as Trossi holds. Now Seaball, Tomas around the screen on the wing. Jacks a 3, got it. Tomas has been hot. She now has 11 to lead all scorers. As the Griffins stretch their lead back to 7, under a minute to play, and Hayes was fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. Fifth foul on the Griffins, so from this point on, Holy Family will be shooting, regardless of whether it's a shooting foul or not. Hayes now 3 for 3 at the line in this game. Schweitzer back into the game as Hofstadter will sit. Hayes waiting for the second free throw. 23-14 game. Griffins on top. Hayes off on the second, tipped underneath. Who's it off of last? And it's going to Holy Family. They'll say it was off of Tamaya Graham. 55.5 on the clock in the opening quarter. 23-14 game. Here's Smith working on Tomas. Puts it up with the right and gets the roll on the 8-foot leaner. Smith, very athletic, just a freshman, but showing a lot of promise. Here's Seabold, too strong from 3, her first shot attempt of the game. Rebound for Schweitzer and Holy Family. Jada Wildgoose and Haley Gibson will check in at the next whistle, if we have one, only 30 on the clock in the opening quarter. Here's Schweitzer working on Tomas to the hoop with the right hand, gets it to go off glass. 5-point game now. Griffins can hold for the final shot if they choose to. Shot clock is turned off. 15 on the game clock. Tomas, 10 on the clock. Tries to feed Graham. It's a cutting Seabold at the elbow. 6 on the clock. Scoop shot, no good. Trossi the offensive board. 2 on the clock. Glenna 3. Too strong. Graham couldn't get it up in time. And that's how the opening quarter will end with the Griffins on top, 23-18. They led by as much as 11. We'll take a short break and be back with the start of the second quarter. Ricky Sobrano back here at courtside at Sorgente Arena. 23-18, Griffins on top of Holy Family as we get set for the start of the second quarter. Vicky Tomas already with 13 points to lead all scorers. Casey Schweitzer paces Holy Family. She has 11. Only the third time Schweitzer has been in double figures this season, comes in averaging 6.9 per game, so she's already nearly doubled that up. Griffins led by as much as 11. It's their ball to begin the second quarter. Seabold holds. Hofstadter out on her. Seabold has it back from Tomas. Now Gibson deep left wing. 15 on the clock. Wild Goose on the elbow. Was trapped. Kicks it open. Tomas. Got it. Tomas now has 16. She's been scorching hot. 4 of 6 from deep. 8-point game. Tomas had been in a stretch of scoring 13 or less her last 4. It's below her season average of just over 16, so she's already bested that in a quarter and about 40 seconds. So she's been red hot. Wild Goose rejects Radley down low. Holy Family has it back, though. Shot clock did not reset, and a travel on the perimeter by Verma, and it goes to the Griffins. For Holy Family, the story is typically the 2 big girls inside. Casey Thomas, their leading scorer at 12.2 per game, and Elizabeth Radley erupted in their last game. Went for 23 and 8 as Thomas was ineffective and in foul trouble for most of the game, but Thomas and Radley have both been very, very quiet so far. Here's Seabold, gets her man up in the air on the pump fake, but then threw it away, taken away by Radley. Hofstadter on the run, up ahead Schweitzer, had Smith down low, but didn't see her. And Verma will reset. Looking to post up Radley down low. She's working on Wild Goose, fades away, air ball from the right block. Rebound for Gibson, up ahead for Seabold, and she'll lay it home with the right hand. Griffins with a quick 5-0 run to begin the second quarter. And Holy Family will take a timeout. Back to a 10-point game. Griffins' largest lead of the game was 11. That was about midway through the opening quarter. Griffins shooting over 50% in the early going and 6 of 12 from deep. Have the edge in turnovers as well, do the Griffins. Only turned it over 4 times compared to Holy Family's 7. Holy Family ball out of the timeout. Griffins in the gold and red. Holy Family in the black with sky blue trim. Minute and a half in to the second quarter. 10-point game. Griffins on top. And their return home. Here's Verma. Finds Smith, and that's a travel. Jada Smith, freshman guard out of Philadelphia, leads the team in rebounds at just over 9 per game. Averages just shy of a double-double at 9.9 and 9.3 per game. There's Seabold on the run. Scoop shot won't go, but she was fouled. Cassie Siebold, the Griffins' outstanding freshman, to the line. She's 75% from the line this season. The reigning Rookie of the Week got her first career start last week in a game against Mercy. Now Smith will sit. Casey Thomas back in. So Holy Family going big now with 2 6-footers on the court. We'll see if they go inside. Lane violation there on Verma. That will give Siebold another shot as she missed the free throw. .29-18 game. Griffins on top. Siebold hits the second. Now a 12-point game, largest lead of the game for the Griffins. Hofstadter with Siebold on her. Across the timeline as Siebold backs off. 20 on the clock. 2 big girls now, Thomas and Radley in the game. Double screen set up. Hofstadter goes right. Kicks for Verma. Schweitzer on the wing. Radley calling for it. Now she has it, working on Wild Goose. Goes up with the right and finishes. Soft touch off the front of the rim. So that's probably going to be the game plan now for Holy Family, to bang the somewhat smaller Griffins inside. Here's a 3, too short from Siebold in the corner. Glenn keeps it alive. Gibson deep 2 off left. Rebound for Verma and Holy Family. Here's Schweitzer looking to run. Griffins get back though. Verma now Radley inside, working on Glenn. Spins to her left, too strong, in and out. Rebound for Glenn. Siebold hands off for Glenn, a 3, off left, air ball. Tomas tried to keep it alive but could not, and it goes to Holy Family. Verma will sit. Hayes in for Holy Family. Wild Goose and Siebold sit for the Griffins. Maya Graham back in, as is Mary Trossi. Hofstadter streaking down the far sideline for Hayes between the circles. She's open, doesn't take the shot though. Instead they'll reset with Hofstadter at the logo and 16 on the clock. Trossi on her, now Hayes with Gibson. Goes left around the screen, nearly threw that one away, but it's saved by Radley inside Thomas, and she finishes over the much smaller Trossi. That time on the rotation, it's Trossi working on the 6-footer. That's not the matchup that the Griffins want down low. 8-point game. Trossi, and she was fouled on the perimeter. That time it's Thomas, who couldn't stay in front of the quicker Trossi. So it always depends on the situation. On the other end of the floor, it was Trossi at a disadvantage on the block against Thomas, but on the perimeter, it's Trossi with the advantage as Tomas off the inbound puts it in. 19 points for Vicky Tomas. 11-point game again. Assist to Mary Trossi. There's Schweitzer. 21 on the shot clock. Hofstadter. Griffins in a man-to-man look. Hofstadter will back out and reset. Hayes, 14 on the clock. As Thomas at the top of the key, the big girl puts it on the deck, and she traveled. Wild Goose and Siebold back in after a very brief break. Graham and Gibson will sit. Smith back in for Holy Family as Hayes sits. Griffins on top by 11 as they try to get back above 500 here in the second quarter. Tomas, Siebold between the circles, Smith on her. Siebold drives right around her, too strong off glass though, tough shot. Here's Schweitzer on the run. She'll pull it back out with Trossi on her. Here's a deep 2, Thomas connects. So Thomas, the 6-footer, showing a deft touch from outside. Back to single digits, 9-point game. Tomas looking to answer, too strong that time on a deep 3. Siebold, the offensive board, slipped down, and it's taken away by Schweitzer. Here comes Hofstadter. 1-on-3, she'll try her luck and puts it home from 16. Nice shot by Hofstadter. In a gaggle of 3 Griffins, she shoots it off the dribble. And it's a 7-point game. Glenn a 3. Off right, rebound for Thomas and Holy Family. Holy Family hanging around. There's Radley down low. Thomas, top of the key jumper. Gets the roll. Front rim, back rim, and down. 5-point game. Every time it looks like the Griffins are going to stretch it out for good, Holy Family goes on a run and gets back into it. Trossi shot fake to Maz. Back for Trossi. Down low, Wild Goose in traffic, and she lays it home off the window. Wild Goose has been quiet so far, but that time she found a path through the hoop. Hofstadter will slow it down, 22 on the shot clock. With the two big girls, Radley and Thomas, in the game, Holy Family does not want to make this a track meet. Radley, top of the key, drives right, spinning on Glenn, goes up at the left, too short, rebound for Glenn and the Griffins. Trossi looking to push, but Holy Family got back. Handoff for the trailer, Glenn. Seabold works left, picks up her dribble, feeds Wild Goose down low, and she finishes with the right as she squirmed her way around the bigger Elizabeth Radley. 9-point game and even 4 on the clock. In the second quarter, Griffins on top. Hofstadter will slow it down again with Trossi playing her aggressively all the way out to the logo. 12 on the clock, down low Radley. Shot partially blocked, and it goes out of bounds and will stay with Holy Family. They'll only have 9 to shoot. Now Radley will sit as Verma comes back in, so Holy Family going smaller now with a 4-guard look. Thomas, right back for Hofstadter, 6 on the clock, kicks for Verma, a deep 2. Too short, kept alive momentarily by Hofstadter, but here comes Trossi. She feeds Seabold on the wing. Seabold has it back at 3, too short. Long rebound, Trossi. Tipped out of bounds, and it's off of Smith last. Caroline Gehring, one of the senior captains on this team, getting her first action of the game as well now, number 1 in gold. Trossi to inbound in the corner. As Gibson, skip past Gehring, a catch and shoot 3, got it. Caroline Gehring, her first points of the ball game. It's now a 12-point game, tied for the largest lead of the game for the Griffins. Hofstadter holds with Trossi on her, and a foul down low will go against Holy Family. And it goes to the Griffins. Foul's on Verma. Jada Wild Goose back in for the Griffins. Tamaya Graham sits. Hayes back in as well for Holy Family as Schweitzer sits. Both teams going to their bench. Late in the second quarter. Under 3 to play now. In the opening half, 12-point game, Griffins on top. It's Gehring working around the screen, has Seabold. She was looking for the 3, but it wasn't there. Instead, off the dribble from 16, off to the right, out of bounds, and it is off of Holy Family last. Melissa Dunn does not agree and is arguing that call. It's not an argument that coaches typically win, though, and stays with the Griffins. Shot clock did not reset as the ball did not hit the rim, and a lot of contact there. And it's again going against Holy Family. That'll be a shove on Thomas. So that will make the shot clock reset. 4th foul on Holy Family. Glenn back in for the Griffins as Gehring sits. Radley will come in as Thomas has picked up her 2nd foul. So they'll look to protect her. Might have been a frustration foul right there from Thomas. Here's Tamaz around the screen. Glenn calling for it down low. Said they go up high for Gibson, who had trouble with that pass. It's tipped up in the air, and another foul. This one on the Griffins, so now the ball goes over the Holy Family. We'll get Gibson on an arm bar, her first, and the Griffins' first of the quarter. Here's Verma running the point now with Hofstadter on the wing. She has it now. Seabold on her. Works right, pick and roll with Radley rejected by Glenn. Here's Seabold as the Griffins look to push. Skip pass to Maza, 3. Too short, rebound Glenn, and she threw it away. Tomas cut inside. She cut to the hoop after the foul, and Glenn threw it to where Tomas had been. 12-point game, 2:10 to go. In the second quarter, Verma with Tomas on her. Here's Smith. Now Radley, a deep 2, foot on the line, too short, barely grazed iron. Hayes, air ball on the follow. Verma stepped out of bounds. So Holy Family winning the battle on the glass right now. They've had a few more offensive rebounds, but the Griffins, their hot shooting has them out in front. 12-point game, 1:45 to go. In the opening half, it's Wild Goose, kicks for an open Gibson, a 3. Too strong, long rebound to Maz, back for Glenn, now Seabold. The Griffins will slow it down. Seabold for Gibson, down low, a cutting Wild Goose, and a travel. Wild Goose did not agree, but Mike West, right in front of me, you can hear him saying, you dragged your pivot foot, so doing a bit of coaching right there. Here's Verma. Tomas watching her closely as she crosses the timeline. There's a screen set up to her left from Radley. She uses it. The Griffins hedge aggressively, and it forces the turnover. As Verma, with the pressure in her face, she threw it into the feet. And in fact, right through the feet of Schweitzer. And the ball goes back to the Griffins, 12-point game. Trossi with the head of steam, tries to turn the corner, lost the ball, saves it in the corner. 22 on the clock. Seabold, that's a travel. The game getting a bit sloppy here the last couple of minutes. A lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers after a pretty clean first 16 minutes or so. Here's Verma. Tomas on her. Hofstadter not in the game right now, so Verma doing the bulk of the ball handling. She has it back, deep right wing, under a minute to play in the second quarter. Here's Smith. Drives on Seabold, partially rejected by Wild Goose. Smith has it back, kicks for Verma, a 3. Too strong, rebound for Trossi. Here comes Trossi looking to push. Has Tomas on her left, finds her, a 3 on the way, got it. Vicky Tomas continues her hot shooting. She now has 22. Only 6 less than Holy Family has as a team. 15-point game, largest lead of the game for the Griffins. About a second-and-a-half difference between shot and game clock. Here's Schweitzer. She holds with Gibson on her. Smith. Now Hayes. Verma on the run. 10 on the clock. Radley at the free throw line. Hayes a 3. Got it. Hayes with the answer. 6 on the clock. 13-point game. Trossi will push. 4 on the clock. 2 on the clock. She hands off Glenn, a 3. Too strong. 13-point game as we head, or beg your pardon, 12-point game as we head to the half, 43-31. Griffins on top as they look for their third conference win. Vicky Tomas leads all scorers with 22 as she's been red hot. So we'll take a break and be back with the start of the second half and a recap of the first in just a couple minutes.
A senior from Richboro, Pennsylvania, number 4, Alexis Austin. A 5'7" freshman from Woodbury, New Jersey, number 10, Angela Hayes. A 6'1" junior from Madison, New Jersey, number 23, Casey Thomas. Head coach of the Tigers is Melissa Dunn. Now here are the starters for your Chestnut Hill College Griffins. A 5'2" junior from Somerset, New Jersey, number 2, Mary Rossi. A 5'9" sophomore from Harlingen, New Jersey, number 20, Haley Gibson. A 5'6" senior from North Wales, Pennsylvania, number 22, Vicky Gerard. A 5'9" junior from Somerset, New Jersey, number 32, Jada Wakus. And a 5'10" sophomore from Philadelphia, number 42, Shannon Glenn. The assistant coaches for the Griffins are Lindsay Alexander, Pat Herman, Brittany McDonough, Micaiah Young, and McKinnon Monroe Thomas. And the head coach in his third season is Mike West. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the statistics for the first half of tonight's first game of the doubleheader. First, for Holy Family, their leading scorer with 11 points is number 1, Casey Schweitzer. She also has 5 rebounds. Number 3, Jada Smith has 4 points and 6 rebounds. Number 4, Alexis Hofstetter has 2 points. Number 10, Angela Hayes has 6. Number 23, Casey Thomas has 6. Number 2, Elizabeth Bradley has 2 points. In the half, Holy Family shot 44.8% from the field. They were 2 for 7 from three-point distance and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. For Chestnut Hill, leading all scorers with 22 points is number 22, Vicky Tomas. Number 2, Mary Trossi has 4 points. Number 32, Jada Wakus has 4. Number 42, Shannon Glenn has 6 points and 5 rebounds. Number 1, Caroline Gary has 3 points, and number 4, Cassie Siepel has 4 points. The Griffins shot 47.1% from the field. They were 9 of 21 from three-point distance, and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, the Griffins will be on the road for their final games of the 2017 calendar year on Saturday, December 30th, for a doubleheader at Georgian Court University. That's an afternoon. Those are afternoon contests, with the women's game at 1 and the men's game following at 3. The next home games here in Sorgetti Arena come on Tuesday, January the 2nd, when the Griffins will host Wilmington University in the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference doubleheader. The women's game starts at 6, the men's game follows at 8. Doubleheader basketball here at Sorgetti Arena on January 2nd. We also remind you there's a 50-50 raffle in progress. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, stop by the table just by the entrance and buy your ticket for today's 50-50 raffle.
Ricky Sobrano back here inside Sorgente Arena. A couple minutes away from the start of the second half between Chestnut Hill Griffins and Holy Family University Tigers, 43-31. At the end of the opening half, Griffins on top, and the story has been Vicky Tomas, who has a game-high 22 points on 8 of 11 from the field, 6 of 9 from deep, to go along with 2 boards, an assist, and a steal, as she has been red hot. Vicky Tomas, the leading scorer on this Griffins team, but she had been in a little bit of a slump, scoring 13 or less points each of her last 4 games, but she's broken out of it in style in this one already with 22. Now we'll see how many she can get. Her career high is 29. That was about a month ago, I believe, actually the end of November. Check the exact game on that, but that is her career high, so she's only 7 away from that, with still an entire half to play. And it's not as if the game is a massive blowout just yet, at least, so she will get her normal run here in the second in all likelihood. Yeah, that game with 29, that was on December 2nd against Goldie Beacom. That was a home game that we carried here on GriffinAthletics.com. So it's Holy Family ball to begin the second half. Holy Family in the black with the sky blue trim. The Griffins in the gold with the red trim, red numbers. Chestnut Hill in white on the front breast. Holy Family going with Hayes. Thomas down low. Hayes nearly lost that. Hofstadter has it now. She attacks diagonally, kicks in the corner. Schweitzer a 3. Got it. Nope, long 2, foot on the line. 10-point game. Schweitzer has 13 to lead Holy Family. Schweitzer has this shooting motion where she puts her right foot in front of her. And that's the second time it's cost her that she stepped over the line right at the last second and ended up being a long 2 instead of a 3. Wild Goose rejected on the other end. To Maz. Did she save it? No, she did not. It will stay with Holy Family. She jumped that passing lane and tried to fire it off of Hayes, but stepped out of bounds first. Now Thomas sits. Quick substitution there. Radley back in. Griffin's going with the same 5 that they started with. Tomas, Trossi, and Gibson in the backcourt. Glenn and Wild Goose up front. Wild shot by Smith way off to the left off glass. And then Radley comes up short, hit the bottom of the bucket on the offensive putback. Here's Trossi all the way, and she was fouled. Trossi will go to the line for 2. Fouls on Smith. That's her second. Trossi, 57.7% from the line this year, and misses that one. So she's struggled there a bit this year. That's below her career averages. Smith will sit. Thomas back in, so now Holy Family again going big. Trossi hits the second. Now an 11-point game, and even 9 on the clock. As Trossi will play Hofstadter all the way up the court. So we play on in the third quarter. In this conference affair, Griffins 2-1 in conference so far. Schweitzer attacking, came up short with the left hand, tipped, but it goes right to Thomas, and she was fouled and got the bucket to fall. It was tipped by a Griffin off the initial rebound. I believe it was Gibson who got her hands on it, and unfortunately for Chestnut Hill, it went right to Thomas, and she put it home. Casey Thomas coming off of her worst game of the season, the last game against Jefferson for this Holy Family team. Only had 2 points. She's the leading scorer on this team, but she converts the 3-point play there as Wild Goose answers on the other end on the feed from Gibson. Holy Family's defense got crossed up as Wild Goose was wide open down low, nobody near her. There's Hayes, kicks for Schweitzer, picks up her dribble, back for Hayes, and now Hofstadter will reset at the logo with Trossi all the way out on her. She has a screen set up from Radley, kicks in the corner. Hayes, too strong on the line drive 3. Trossi the board, and the Griffins have numbers if they hurry. Here's Gibson, backdoor to Maz, couldn't handle the pass cleanly, so she'll pull it back out. Hits a cutting Trossi, rejected by Thomas. Ball's loose on the floor. Trossi gets it back. Backdoor pass to Maz. 12 on the clock. Now Gibson nearly lost it. Helter-skelter here. Gibson from the elbow. In and out. Tipped. And finally, Thomas corrals and will settle down a little bit. Schweitzer on the wing. Gibson out on her. And a foul down low. It will be on Jada Wildgoose. It's her second. Quiet game for Jada Wildgoose so far. 6 points and 1 board. Off the inbound, Thomas fades away, too short. Hofstadter has it back. Inside Radley, and she was fouled from behind by Tomas. That will send Radley to the line. Mentioned the quiet game for Thomas in Holy Family's last outing, which, by the way, was 10 days ago. They haven't played since the 9th, which is very, very odd to have a 10-day break, especially since now Holy Family will likely not play until after Christmas. So they'll have another long break, as Radley 2 for 2 that time. But Thomas had an off game, but Radley stepped up and had the best game of her career by far as she went for 23 and 8. Gibson holds the pivot foot and avoids the travel. Here's Glenn. Trossi in the corner, skip past Gibson to 3. Too short. Coming away with the board is Hayes as she wrestled it away from Tomas. Hofstadter across the timeline with a head of steam. Crosses over on Gibson, but Gibson recovers. That pass tipped and stolen by Tomas, but Hayes gets it right back. Hayes attacking into the corner of 3. Too short from Radley, extending her range. Trossi comes away with the board in traffic. Trossi looking to push all the way to the hoop. Dribbles right around Thomas. Back out Gibson. Tomas a deep 3. Too short. On the line drive. Here's Hayes. 3-on-1. Hofstadter on the wing. She attacks Glenn and gets it to go with the right hand on the scoop shot high off the window. 6-point game. Closest Holy Family has been since midway through the second quarter. Here's Glenn. Shot fake. Looking for help. Now Gibson, deep right wing. Holy Family on a bit of a run here. Glenn will try her luck. Off left, high rebound for Hofstadter. And with a 3, Holy Family can cut it to a 1-possession game. Hofstadter deep 2 off the dribble, and she puts it in. Hofstadter likes that shot. It's one of the things point guards need to be able to do, shoot off the dribble, and she's good at it. 4-point game. Trossi in the corner. Griffins have been cold in the third. Glenn shot fake to the hoop. Scoop shot, no good, too strong. But she had a good look. Rebound for Schweitzer and Holy Family. Hofstadter will slow it down. Let's see if they try to go inside with Thomas and Radley out on the court. Both taller than the tallest Griffin, which is Glenn, by 3 inches. Hofstadter around the screen. Open look, Hayes a 3. Way too short on the line drive. Rebound for Wildgoose. Here's Tomas. Attacking Radley, too strong. Rebound for Hayes. Hayes looking to push. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Hayes all the way. Rejected by Glenn, but a foul. That's Glenn's third and the 4th on the Griffins. So let's see if Glenn has to sit now. It's also problematic because one more foul and Holy Family will be shooting the rest of the quarter. Hayes has had a good day at the line until then. Now 3 for 5 at the line is Hayes. Gibson and Wildgoose sit. Glenn stays in with the fouls. Graham and Siebold in for the Griffins. Second is good from Hayes. 1-possession game, 46-43. Now Hayes will take a seat. Jelly Verma, freshman out of Estonia in the game now, 22 in black. Graham holds on the right wing for the Griffins. Siebold sizing up her man and moved her pivot foot. She was trying to work over Verma, and she traveled. So Holy Family could tie it here. It's a 46-43 game. Griffins have led by as many as 15. Hofstadter over to the right wing, down low, good look, Thomas, and she lays it home. In the face of Graham, 1-point game. Caroline Gehring, her first action of the second half. Played briefly, but did make a three in the opening half. Siebold, now Trossi. Glenn on the deep left wing, 12 on the clock. Graham up top, shot fake, drives right to the hoop, no good, too strong. Rebound for Verma, and she'll slow it down. She was momentarily looking to push. Schweitzer, Gehring on her as we come up on 4 to play. In the third quarter, tight game, 1-point game. Schweitzer got the shot to go and the foul. And Holy Family leads. Their first lead of the ball game, and it comes with 4:02 to go in the third quarter. And she'll go to the line for one more. Gehring and Glenn sit. Gibson and Wild Goose back in for the Griffins. Trossi coming out as well, although she wasn't sure about it. Griffins only 3 points in the entirety of the third quarter. Now it's a 48-46 game as Schweitzer converts the three-point play. Holy Family, 17-3 run here in the third quarter. Wild Goose fouled by Thomas. That's the third on Thomas. That's big. Let's see if she sits, and she will. It's an unnecessary foul by Thomas, who now has to sit. So the 5 that did so well and keyed this run for Holy Family now not all on the court, as the leading scorer for the Tigers has to sit. Smith in for her. Wild Goose in the corner. Into the lane. Kicks for Gibson. 25 on the clock. Handoff to Maz, and she was bumped by Verma. Just the first on Verma. Graham the inbound for the Griffins. In the traffic. Not a good idea. Stolen by Smith. Here's Schweitzer. She'll reset with Verma. Siebold out on her. Nearly stolen. Instead on the run. Hofstadter into the corner for Radley, and a foul here, as Toumaj tried to jump the passing lane and got in on Schweitzer. So that'll be 2 shots for Schweitzer as the Griffins are in the penalty. Schweitzer just under 71% from the line this year. Had just made one to convert a 3-point play, and she hits there too. Graham will sit, Glenn in with the 3 fouls. They'll say she only has 2, so there was one down low that it looked like it was initially going on her. It was on Wild Goose instead. So it's Jada Wild Goose playing with the 3 fouls, Glenn with 2, something to watch in either event. 4-point game. Siebold, backdoor pass for Wild Goose, partially blocked from behind by Smith. Wild Goose thought she was fouled. In the corner, Schweitzer. Radley will try a 3. Too short, well contested by Wild Goose. Rebound for Siebold. Siebold on the run. In traffic, lost the ball. It's out of bounds. Who's it off of? It's going to Holy Family. No one knew whether to go after it or not because it's just very tough to tell who would hit last. But they'll say it was off of Siebold, and then it went out of bounds. Here's Verma and Hayes in the backcourt. Hayes crosses the timeline on the run, and she was bumped by Siebold. Mike West is irate, not happy about it. Mark Horn, the official who drew his ire, kind of gave him the old, all right, calm down look. It's double bonus time for Holy Family, so Hayes at the line for 2. She rattles home the first, 5-point game. Griffins have to be careful here because there's 3 minutes left, well, 2:59 to be exact, in the third quarter. And Holy Family is in the bonus already. Too strong on the second. Smith kept it alive, but it's off of her last, and it goes to the Griffins. So there's potentially a lot of free points out there if the Griffins are not careful with their fouls. Griffins still only 3 points in this half, but Wild Goose finishes through the contact, and she'll go to the lane for one more. Back to a one-possession game. That was on Verma. Hofstadter back in. Hofstadter, a redshirt senior, the only senior on this Holy Family team. Wild Goose gets the roll on the free throw, 2-point game, 2:52 to go in the third quarter. Back and forth game. Griffins have led by as many as 15. Wide open, Schweitzer down low. They took too long getting it to her, though. She'll take a long two now, no good. Radley, the offensive board, can finish at the bottom of the backboard, and now she'll kick back out. Shot clock didn't reset the second time. Schweitzer will slow it down. Here's Smith crossing over, kicks out Hofstadter. Trying to work over Gibson. Hayes in the corner, 10 on the clock, works right around the screen. Schweitzer a three. Off left, rebound for Glenn and the Griffins. Here's Seabold looking to run. Seabold cut off by Hofstadter. Now Holy Family looks to trap, but she passes out of it, has it back, a 3-2 short from Seabold. Wild Goose off right again and finishes. And she'll go to the line looking to complete her second three-point game, or three-point play rather, in as many possessions. Tie ball game, 51 all. Wild Goose can give the Griffins the lead again. Seabold will sit, Trossi back in, 2 on the clock in the third quarter. Wild Goose now with 11, heating up at the right time for the Griffins. 2 short. Could have given the Griffins the lead. Tie game, 51 all. Under 2 to play in the third quarter. Hofstadter with Trossi all over her. Smith works right on Gibson, kicks an open Hayes, a 3. 2 short, rims out. Keeping it alive is Radley, and Hayes comes away with the board. Smith trapped in the corner, dribbling her way out of it, attacks the lane, doesn't get the roll, too strong with the right. Toumaz across the timeline. Now Gibson deep right wing, Glenn. And Trossi tacking, dribbles underneath the hoop. Wild Goose in traffic, wild shot. Too strong, rebound for Smith. Smith looking to run, but first the timeout. Melissa Dunn looking to slow down the pace of this game a little bit. We'll take a timeout as Smith was looking to run. 51 all. 1:17 to go, 1:18 as they put a second back on the clock. In the third quarter, this quarter has been all Holy Family, especially until the last couple of minutes. Holy Family still with a 20-8 edge in the third, as the Griffins led by 12 at the break. At one point, it was a 17-3 edge. As the Griffins scored early on, they actually made their first shot, a 3 of the third quarter, and then went ice cold for a solid 5 or 6 minutes. That got Holy Family back into the game, and that's why we're knotted up at 51 in a game that at one point looked like it would be a laugher. Hayes the inbound and does so for Hofstadter. Trossi checking her aggressively. Thomas back in the game with the 3 foul. She just had it momentarily. Now Hofstadter has a screen set up from Thomas. Pick and roll underneath. Thomas doesn't get the roll with the left. Smith fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2. Thomas missed the open look. They ran the pick and roll with Hofstadter and Thomas. They got exactly what they wanted, did Holy Family. Thomas couldn't finish, but now Smith, with the extra effort, will go to the line for 2. Jada Smith just 56.5% from the line, though. Hits that one, though, on a high arcing free throw from Smith. Smith, a freshman, 5 double-doubles already this season, 2 in a row heading into this game. And listed as a guard at 5'9" and lanky. Hit a pair that time, 2-point game under a minute to play in the third quarter. Here's Toumaz looking for her first points of the third quarter and gets them right there. Vicky Toumaz with a 3, and the Griffins back on top. She now has 25. Chestnut Hill backs off here. They've been pressuring Holy Family for most of the game, but not that time. And going the other way, a foul down low. That'll be on Thomas. That's her 4th. Thomas doesn't know what she did, but in either event, yeah, they are going to get her out of the game. Looked like they might leave her for a second. Radley back in. And that's important because Holy Family has been effective. And really what keyed the run was having Radley and Thomas on the floor at the same time. That won't happen for a while with Thomas in foul trouble. Glenn, a 3. In and out on the look from Trossi. Rebound for Hofstadter. And Holy Family can slow it down and hold for the final shot here. With the shot clock turned off, 15 on the game clock. 54-53 game. Griffins on top in a back-and-forth affair here in the third quarter. Hofstadter, now Schweitzer on the run. 5 on the clock, tipped and stolen by Trossi. Trossi, 2 on the clock, and have to get it up, and she was fouled. Before the quarter ended, Trossi is fouled, so she'll go to the line. 4-2. Now the officials will have to come to the scorer's table and put at least some time back on the clock. The clock says 0 right now. They'll probably put 0.1, perhaps 0.2. And they'll put 0.2 seconds on the clock. So Trossi will take the free throws, and that'll pretty much do it for the quarter. Makes it a 2-point game as Trossi converts the first. Trossi now 6 points, 7 boards, and 3 assists, and hits the pair. 3-point game, and that's how the third quarter will end. It's 56-53. Griffins on top as they weather a big early run by Holy Family and come back on top as actually Holy Family led briefly for the first time in the game in the third quarter. But Chestnut Hill on top, 56-53. Take a break and be back with the fourth. Just a moment.
4-7-7. 3. 8-4-7. 4-7-7-3. Again, winning 50-50 ticket number 8-4-7-4-7-7-3.
Back here inside Sorgenti Arena, Ricky Sobrano here with you. 56-53, Griffins on top. As we head to the fourth, Chestnut Hill able to weather the storm in the third quarter as Holy Family started it on a 17-3 run. The Griffins went cold for about 5 minutes. But now they're back on top. Actually trailed briefly as Holy Family got their first lead of the game. And it's Griffins ball to begin the fourth. Griffins in the gold. Holy Family in the black with the sky blue trim. Glenn holds the ball over her head. And a foul down low. That'll be on Jada Smith for Holy Family. First foul on Holy Family, and now we're going to have a whistle as Melissa Dunn is arguing still. Needed to reset the shot clock as well, but Melissa Dunn is continuing her argument. Inbound pass tip nearly stolen. Wild Goose saves it. Backdoor Trossi kicks out an open Gibson. Too short. On the line drive. Smith the board. And she will push. Smith tried to throw a backdoor, tipped by Tomas. Smith recovers. 22 on the clock. Hayes holds. Deep left wing. Now Smith. Verma. With Glenn on her. 10 on the clock. Smith Now Hayes, 7 on the clock. Not much going on here for Holy Family. Radley in the corner, on the run, spins on. Wild Goose got the shot to go. And the foul. Nothing going on that possession for Holy Family. Radley, a post player, got the ball in the corner with 5 on the shot clock, and she made something happen and can tie it up if she hits the free throw. Tie ball game as Radley converts the three-point play. 56 all, just about a minute. Into the fourth quarter, Tamaz threw it away. Stolen by Radley. Radley will pull it back out and leave for Hofstadter. Hofstadter on the run. Back for Radley. Wild Goose on her. In the corner, Hayes. Spinning on to Maz. Lost it in traffic. Stolen by Gibson, who came with the help. Gibson crossing over at midcourt. Here's Trossi. Underneath the hoop. Too strong with the right. Wild Goose to follow and gets it to go. High off glass. Griffins back on top. Jada Wild Goose has led the way. In the second half, at least. Vicky Tamaz, 22 points in the opening half, but only 3 so far in the second. Radley rims out from 6 feet. Rebound for Gibson and the Griffins. Here's Trossi. And off for Gibson. She'll work it back to the middle of the court with Smith on her. Trossi, deep right wing. Verma on her. Open to Maz. Too strong. Long rebound for Verma. Hayes, 2-on-1 quickly with Smith. Smith through the hoop and lays it home. On the feed from Hayes. Tie ball game again. It's been a good one here, under 8 to play in the fourth. Looked like early on the Griffins might turn it into a laugher, but a strong third quarter from Holy Family changed that. Wild Goose missed the bunny, goes back up and finishes. Radley tried the flop. There was no call on any of the contact. And Wild Goose left her wide open. She missed the first one, but with Radley still on the deck, was able to corral and finish on the follow. 2-point game, Griffins on top. Here's Smith, giving her plenty of cushion. She's not a shooter at this point in her young career. Hayes around the screen, and it'll be a blocking foul on Gibson. 60-58 game, Griffins on top. Griffins now shooting just under 38% for the game. Wild Goose will sit, as will Gibson. Glenn. I beg your pardon. Graham and Seabold now in the game as the Griffins go small here. Smith with Seabold on her. 22 on the shot clock. Radley cutting down low. Now Smith drives, kicks for Hayes. 18 on the clock. Schweitzer back in the game. Radley calling for it. Now she gets it on the block. And it's an offensive foul. Nice job by Graham, who got smacked in the ear, but got the call. Radley not happy about it. Radley tried the up and under, a hard ball fake. Graham didn't bite. And when she swung back around, caught Graham up high. Under 7 to play, 2-point game, Griffins on top. Seabold on the run, gets it to go with the left. 4-point game as Seabold, the reigning freshman of the week in CACC, makes it a 2-possession game. Gibson will check in at the next whistle, and we'll have it now as Melissa Dunn wants a timeout. 4-point game, 6:28 to go. In the fourth quarter, Griffins on top in a nail-biter. Chestnut Hill led as many as 15. It was 30 seconds into the second quarter as it looked like the Griffins might stretch it out and keep it in double digits for most of the game, but Holy Family came roaring back on the strength of a 17-3 run to begin the third quarter, and actually led by as many as 5 late in the third before the Griffins offense woke back up, and Chestnut Hill back on top now. Jada Wild Goose, a strong second half, now has 15 and 5, 7 of 14 from the field. Vicky Tamaz still paces all scorers with 25 on 9 of 15 from the field, 7 of 12 from deep. For Holy Family, it's Casey Schweitzer with 18. That's a new career high for her. Here's Smith off the inbound through the hoop. Gets it to go off the window, but an offensive foul. Graham drawing her second offensive foul in as many possessions. Melissa Dunn can't believe it and is arguing her case. That's another turnover, and it goes to Chestnut Hill. Graham doesn't always put up monster stats for Chestnut Hill, but always does a good job defensively for the Griffins. And now a foul going the other way. That's on Graham. Mike West not happy about that. It's an illegal screen on Graham. 4-point game, 6:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Here's Schweitzer. A team high 18 for Holy Family for her. Here's Hayes, feeds a cutting, or tried to get it into a cutting Radley, but it was tipped out of bounds by Graham as she recovered. Tamaz and Wild Goose back in. Glenn and Graham will sit. Hayes to inbound. Still looking for help and lobs a fairly dangerous pass out to Verma. 13 on the shot clock. Radley calling for it down low. Now Schweitzer deep left wing. 8 on the clock. Hayes in the corner on the run. Attacking with the right hand. Too strong. Wild shot off glass. Rebound for Tumaz. And the Griffins. Strassi on the run. Now Seabold thought about the shot. Now she'll fire away on the step back. Too short. Rebound Verma. And here comes Holy Family. Seabold, beg your pardon. Radley trying to post up down low as the shot from Schweitzer no good, but Smith picks up the loose change and makes it a 2-point game again. 5:20 to go in the fourth. It's been a nail-biter now, and second in particular. Seabold, that pass in traffic is kicked, and it will stay with the Griffins. Hofstadter and Thomas back in, as Radley and Hayes will sit. Thomas with those 4 fouls. So they'll give her a run now after Radley has been in the game for most of the second half. She's probably running out of gas at this point. Here's Seabold. Nearly lost it as she's working on Schweitzer. Wild Goose, 14 on the clock. Gibson with Smith all over her in her hip pocket. 9 on the clock. Gibson rejected but a foul. Aggressive defense from Smith, and she's hit with the call. I will send Gibson to the line for 2. Smith will sit. Radley back in after she sat for about 25 seconds. I think Radley and Wild Goose are actually having a laugh about that right now, how briefly she was out as Gibson hits the first. So now Holy Family goes big. Remember, that's what keyed the 17-3 run by them to begin the third quarter, as they have Thomas and Radley, the 2 6-footers, in the ball game. Gibson converts a pair back to a 2-possession game, 64-60, under 5 to play in the fourth. Hofstadter with Seabold on her, will walk it across the timeline. 20 on the shot clock, under 5 on the game clock. Radley holds through the hands of Schweitzer on that feed, but she recovers. Verma, Trossi on her, 9 on the clock. Hofstadter on the elbow, Schweitzer deep 2. Got it. Schweitzer, nice touch. She now has 20 as she continues to stretch out her career high. Back and forth they go. It's now a 1-possession game again. Seabold crosses over to the hoop. No good on the runner. Rebound for Thomas. Looks for Hofstadter and hands off for her, and Hofstadter will trot it up court. Open look, Schweitzer. Too strong. Griffins got lucky there. That was a blown coverage. Schweitzer had nobody near her. Trossi in traffic, lost the ball. Hofstadter comes away with it, and here's Verma 2-on-1 with Schweitzer. Schweitzer missed the layup, hit the bottom of the bucket, but got back her own miss. Schweitzer a 3. Got it. And that one is a 3. Foot wasn't on the line that time, and now Holy Family on top. Under 4 to play. 1-point game. Tamaz working over Verma. Inside, kicks out Gibson a 3. Too strong, long rebound. Schweitzer has it. Now Verma, and she's fouled. Schweitzer with 23 points to lead Holy Family out of nowhere. She only averages 6.9 per game. And a timeout taken here. 30-second timeout taken by Mike West with his squad now down 1. 3:34 to go in the fourth quarter, in a game that the Griffins have led for the vast majority of it. Until we get the stat sheet at the end of the game, we won't get the exact time of possession, if you will, or time in the lead. But it's been the Griffins on top for most of it. Holy Family led briefly by as many as 5 in the third, and now they're up by 1 here late in the fourth. But other than that, Griffins have led throughout. They actually jumped out to an 8-0 lead in the opening moments of the game. Have led by as many as 15 at points in this game. But despite that, Holy Family back on top with 3:34 to go, 65-64 game. Holy Family in the black. It's their ball out of the timeout. Griffins in the gold. Hofstadter over to the right wing, has a screen set up to her left from Thomas. Now she feeds Thomas on the pick and roll. Offensive foul, and that'll be it for Thomas. So Thomas is fouled out. It was a rough game for her. 11 points, 5 boards, 5 of 8 from the field, but in foul trouble throughout. Did battle through it to have a pretty productive game. Now Verma sits. Or now Verma will come in. Looked like they might have had an issue with her checking in. Griffin's ball. Both teams will be in the double bonus on the next foul. So free throws will very likely play a major factor deciding the outcome of this one. Trossi, Verma on her, now Glenn. Wild Goose on the left block, into the lane, and she traveled. Going the other way. '15th turnover for the Griffins. Holy Family has 19. Under 3 to play in the ball game, or at least in regulation. 1-point game. Vicky Tamaz will check in at the next whistle and will probably stay in for the rest of regulation at that point. They need to get her going. Here's Hofstadter. Kicks into the corner of 3. Verma. Too short. Long rebound kept alive by Hofstadter, but Glenn had it taken away by Radley. Griffins would have had numbers if Glenn came away with that, but Radley able to get her hand in there. Hofstadter will kill some time. Out at the logo with Trossi on her, in no rush here. She'll kill some clock. Looks like they'll run a pick and roll. Now they will with Radley. Hofstadter picks up her dribble and a travel. Could not hold the pivot foot as it slid a little bit. 20th turnover on Holy Family. Seabold will sit. Tamaz back in. Griffins going with their starting 5 here down the stretch of Trossi, Glenn, Wild Goose, Gibson, and Tamaz. Trossi fouled. She'll go to the line. 4-2. 2:08 to go. For Verma, that's her 5th, so she's done. And now we're going to see Megan Hughes for the first time in this game. Second player on Holy Family who's fouled out. Hughes just a freshman as Trossi ties the game up. But that's a tough situation for Megan Hughes now to come in ice cold as a freshman in a tie ball game, 2:08 to go. And a timeout taken. Trossi will be at the line for one more. Schweitzer leads Holy Family still in scoring with 23. Tamaz 25 to lead the Griffins. But only 3 of those 25 in the second half as Vicky Tamaz was on fire, 22 points in the opening half. So Trossi at the line for one more. She can tie it up if she hits. 2 players for Holy Family have fouled out of this game. Casey Thomas and Ajeli Verma. Tie game as Trossi splits that pair, 65 all, 2:04 to go. Hofstadter, Trossi checking her aggressively. Under 2 to play. In regulation now, it's Hayes. Now Schweitzer on the run into the lane, goes up with the left, and she was fouled. Nearly got the shot to fall, too, just a little bit too strong. So Schweitzer has been on fire in this game, 9 of 16. Will go to the line 4-2. 5th on the Griffins. Both teams will be shooting for the rest of the game. Schweitzer over 71% from the line this season. And hits that one. Puts Holy Family back on top, 66-65. 1:52 to go in the fourth quarter. Rattles home the second 2-point game. Here's Trossi on the run across the timeline. Drives right to the hoop and gets it to go. Mary Trossi ties it up again, as she did on the prior possession. Hofstadter. Tamaz playing her all the way up the floor. Now, Vicky Tamaz will give her some cushion as Hofstadter crosses the timeline. 18 on the shot clock. Tie game, 1:25 to go in the fourth quarter. Schweitzer spinning on Glenn and an offensive foul. Trossi stepped in. Looks like the officials will talk it over, though. Could be about whether or not Trossi was in the restricted area. And they're calling it a block. So they changed the call. Margaret Hussey made the initial call, but she was overruled. Looked like Trossi might have been in the restricted area. That was probably why they changed it, and that sent Schweitzer to the line. Now they're discussing who the foul's on. Looks like they're calling it on to Maz. Either 22 or 2. In either event, Schweitzer's at the line for 2. Misses the first. If she hits the second, she can give Holy Family the lead with 1:22 to go. Seabold in the game now. Second rattles home. Holy Family back on top. 68-67, 1:20 to go. Here's Seabold. Burke's right with the right-hand dribble. Crosses over. Looking for help. Tamaz cutting, trying to get free. Wild Goose looking to find some space down low, too. Seabold still with it. A lot of dribbling here. Now she attacks. Scoop shot in and out with the left. Wild Goose, and she was fouled. Bradley got her hand in there. That's her third. Sends Wild Goose to the line 4-2. She can tie it with 1 and give the Griffins the lead with 2. Too strong on the first. From the junior, Jada Wild Goose, 15 points. Just below her season average of 15.3. 1:01 on the game clock. Wild Goose gets the roll on the second. Tie game again, 68 all. Clock started too early, so the officials will have to rectify that problem. Put a couple seconds back on. 1:01 on the clock. 68 all. Griffins and Holy Family knotted in a tight one. Now under a minute to play. It's been a back and forth fourth quarter after the Griffins led for almost the entire, actually they did lead for the entire first half and most of the third as well. Here's Hayes, 13 on the clock. Al Hofstadter has a screen set to her left from Radley. Drives left, wild scoop shot won't go, tipped out. And here comes Gibson and the Griffins. Gibson has Trossi and Tamaz on the left side. Now finds Trossi down low, knocked out of her hands. Wild Goose goes up and finishes. 27 seconds left in the ball game, 70-68. Griffins lead. This could be the final possession of the game, depending on how Holy Family plays it. Hofstadter, 18 on the clock, in no rush. Looks like they'll play it for one final possession. Here's Hayes, and a travel. Hayes turns it over. And now Melissa Dunn will take a timeout. 70-68, Griffins on top. And if they can hit their free throws, they'll squeak out of here with a win. In what turned into a back-and-forth game after the Griffins led early on by double digits and looked to be on the verge of running away with it. Holy Family got back into it on a 17-3 run to begin the third. And now at this point, Holy Family already in the penalty with over 5 team fouls. They'll foul immediately with 11 on the clock. The Griffins will get their free throw shooters in the game, and if they can hit a pair, that's it. That'll do it for the game. And obviously easier said than done. The Griffins 10 of 14 from the line today. Holy Family 17 of 21. That last possession not well played by Holy Family. They could have gone a bit quicker and gotten 2 cracks at it. Instead, it looked like they were holding for the final shot. They got it to Angeli Hayes, a freshman. Seemed to try to isolate her, but she only has 8 points on 1 of 7 from the field, so perhaps, in retrospect, not who they wanted with the ball in her hands. In either event, the game's not over yet. The Griffins still need to hit their free throws. So Chestnut Hill will break the huddle with Gibson, Siebold, Tomas, Wild Goose, and Glenn. Holy Family taking their time here. They're 5. Radley, Schweitzer, Hughes, Hayes, and Hofstadter. Glenn to inbound. Gets in for Wild Goose, and she's fouled by Radley. It's the 4th on Radley, and it'll send Jada Wild Goose to the line for 2. If she hits them both, that's pretty much it. Jada Wild Goose, 86.7% from the line this year. That's excellent, especially for a forward. And she converts. Now 3 for 5 from the line today is Jada. Glenn will sit. Trossi back in for defense. As Holy Family, whether this is a make or a miss, will have to push. 3-point game. Here's a second, it's good as well. That's huge from Wild Goose. Now Holy Family will need a miracle. 10 seconds on the clock, 4-point game, Griffins on top. Hofstadter on the run, left to right. She'll go all the way to the hoop and lay it home, 4 on the clock. And a timeout taken. It's a 2-point game. The Griffins essentially willing to give that one up in exchange for the 6 seconds off the clock. And now with 4 seconds on the clock, Holy Family will have to foul immediately. And then obviously hope for a miss. And even then have perhaps 3 seconds on the clock for a desperation heave, and that's really about it. Because it takes minimum a second for a foul. At which point we're looking at 3 seconds at most. So it would essentially come down to, if the Griffins don't make both free throws, to a half-court heave at best for Holy Family. And obviously if Chestnut Hill converts both free throws again, that'll do it. Griffins trying to escape here with a win. It would be their 3rd conference win of the year. They'd improve to 3-1 in the process and get back over 500, 6-6 right now. Holy Family just 1-9 and looking for their first conference win. They're 0-3 in CACC games. Glenn will inbound again. Same setup as on the prior possession. Let's see if they look for Wild Goose again. Now it's Siebold, the freshman, tipped, and now she's fouled. 2 seconds on the clock. That tip actually plays in the Griffins' favor because it made an extra second come off the clock. If she caught it cleanly, likely would have only been 1 second. So Siebold can ice it, the freshman, if she hits them both. Too strong on the first. So now Holy Family does have a shot, but they'll need to rebound this. or inbound it and then just chuck it. 2 on the clock. Schweitzer doesn't get it up in time, so doesn't even try the heave. And the Griffins win 73-70 in what turned into a bit of a nail-biter, back and forth certainly. In the fourth quarter, the Griffins led by as many as 15 in the second. Holy Family got back into it, but Chestnut Hill able to escape and in the process improve to 3-1 in conference, 7-6 overall. Griffins in this one paced by Vicky Tomas, 25 points. She was red hot in the first half, as she had 22 of her 25 in that first half. Jada Wildgoose ended up coming up big in the second half, had a couple big free throws and finished with 20-6. For the game, the Griffins shoot 38.5%, 10 of 31